Now coming to the sixth tool, which is control charts. Control charts are basically line charts depending on time. So I take measurement and I plot those measurement over a period of time. In addition to the normal line curve, these have upper and lower control limits also. These upper and lower control limits are calculated based on the data which I collect. So if I just take an example of my reaching office at 6:30, if I have taken the reading of every day, like day 1 I reached at 6:10, day 2 I reached at 6:15, day 3 I reached at 6:40, all these things if I plot along a line, along a time series, and I calculate the upper and lower control limit based on the formulas. I'm not going into the details of those formulas here. There are a number of types of control charts. I'm not going into the details of that as well. I'm just covering control chart at a high level, that in control chart you have mean, you have upper control limit, you have lower control limit, and you have number of readings plotted along with the time. That's how a control chart will look like. If during this process, if any point which falls above the upper control limit or below the lower control limit, then you can predict that something wrong has happened, something assignable has happened. Earlier when we talked about quality gurus, there we talked about Deming as well. Deming has emphasized a lot on special causes and common causes. People need to know about special cause and common cause. Common cause is a normal fluctuation. So if I go to office, plan for 6:30, I might go 2 minutes early, 2 minutes late, depending on traffic, depending on signals. All those factors might lead to some fluctuation. That's a common cause. That's built in to the system. You really cannot do anything unless you make a drastic change to the process. But then in addition to common causes, there are special causes also. Let's say one day there was an accident on the road was blocked, and that took me another 20-30 minutes to wait, and that day I reached at 7 o'clock. In my control chart, that point will be shown much above the upper control limit. So if I see a point above the upper control limit, I can judge that something wrong has happened. There is some assignable cause, and in that case, I need to investigate, look into that assignable cause and eliminate that from the system. That's how you do for any process, be it reaching at time in the office, or be the volume control in case of that water bottle, or any other process, whatever you are doing. Once you see that you have some reading which is abnormal, which is above the upper control limit, below the lower control limit, you need to do some investigation. And how do you do investigation? You go for cause and effect diagram. You plot a diagram, see that what all could have caused that. So here you would see that all these tools are interrelated. So you find a problem with the control chart, you go to the cause and effect diagram and look at all the causes. So these tools work in combination with each other. Now coming back to control chart, that's what we were discussing here. Why do we need control chart? We need control chart to identify when things go wrong in the process, identify when there is a special cause, and this also helps in telling operator when to take action and when not to take action. Because if things are running within control limit, if things go up and down, then there is no need to take any action. Because if you take too many action, if you fiddle with the system too much, then it's basically going to spoil, basically going to make things worse. So if the changes in the process are just because of common cause, you really don't need to adjust things. For example, let's go back to the same example of going to office. Like if I'm late for 2 minutes one day, that doesn't mean that next day I should start 2 minutes early, because this is a natural fluctuation. There is a natural fluctuation in any process. So that's something which we need to identify, and that's where control charts help us. Now let's look at an example on the next slide.